Okay, welcome back to part 2 of this lesson, guys. This time I want to show you how to create a ball sprite for our soccer keep-ups game. I've gone ahead and made a little test program here, a little test application, and right now it doesn't have anything special about it. It's just a basic JavaFX application. I've made a root group. I've made a scene that's 800 by 600 big with a green background color, and I've added that to the stage and show the stage. If I run the program, there it is. Okay, so now I want to add the ball onto this stage as a sprite. Okay, so first of all, I need to declare or I need to create my ball class. In order to do that, I need to make a subclass of the sprite class that I was creating in the last video. So I will create a new class, and I want this to be in my game package, so I'm using the package with my last name, not the engine package. And this is going to be the ball sprite, so the name for this class is going to be ball. But the super class, I want my super class to be my sprite class. If I search for that, if I search for sprite, I see the engine package and sprite class. That's the one I want. All right, or you can just type in engine for the name of the package dot sprite. I don't need to have a main for this class, but I would like my constructors from the super class. And I will check off that I want to override any inherited abstract methods. Remember, I need to override two methods for the ball here. One to show the ball, and a second one to make the hitbox for the ball. All right, that looks good, and I'll hit finish. All right, so I've created the ball class. You can see it there in my Baumeister package. And here it is on my screen. All right, so to create the ball, I'm going to give the X and Y location of the ball, and I'm going to call the constructor for sprite class to make sure the whole sprite gets set up properly, passing on the X and Y location. And anything else to do to construct this sprite? Not at this time. Right, that's all I need to do to do the construction for this sprite. But I do need to fill in the code now for defining the shape for the sprite and for defining the hitbox. Now the shape for the sprite can really be actually quite simple. All I want to do is make a rectangle, and I'm gonna just call this the rectangle for the ball since that's what we're creating anyway, and make that equal to a new rectangle. Now I need to think about where I want to place this rectangle. I want 0, 0 to be the center of the ball. So I'm going to set this rectangle up with its x location being at -20. This is coordinates for the group that contains the rectangle. Remember, 0, 0 is supposed to be the center. So I want -20 for the x location, -20 for the y location of the top left corner, and then I want a width of 40 and a height of 40. I think that's all I can put into the constructor for the rectangle. Let me make sure I import rectangle, and if that constructor is not going to work, it'll tell us right away. Nope, that constructor is good. Now I need to set the image for the ball, and I'm going to set it as an image pattern painting that rectangle. So I'll say ball dot set fill, and I haven't set up a resources class, so I'm actually just going to have to load the image right here and now. I want a new image pattern based off a new image that's coming from the file, and the name of the file is, it's in the resources folder slash, and the name of the file is soccerball.png. Okay, now that PNG that I have for the soccer ball is transparent. It shows the ball and the edges around the ball are transparent. And I put my slash the wrong way. It should be that way so that I don't get an error on that. Now I will need to import image. Make sure you're importing JavaFX versions of these things, not Java AWT by accident. And I'm importing the JavaFX image pattern. Right now, technically, that's all I need to do to create the ball sprite. And I should be able to put one into the test program and see it on screen. And let's try that now. So I'll just flip back over to test here. I'll say I would like to create a ball sprite. Let's just call it ball is equal to a new ball. And since the screen is 800 pixels wide, I'd like to center this at 400. And I'd like it to start near the top of the screen, so I'll set its Y location to maybe 100. That should create my ball sprite. And make sure I add it to the group. Right, if I run that, I get an error. What did I do wrong? Null pointer exception. I get the feeling that it's upset because I didn't put a shape for the hitbox and I didn't live up to my end of the contract. I thought I could get away with having a null. However, I don't think I can. So let's go back and fix that. Just test that out. Got to make a hitbox for the soccer ball. Soccer ball is a ball, so I want my hitbox to be a circle. And I'm just going to name it HB for hitbox. And I'm going to create a new circle centered at 0, 0 with a radius of, I don't think the ball goes all the way to the edge, so I won't do a radius of 20. I'm going to try a radius of, well, I'm going to be a little bit ridiculous and go with a radius of 10. I don't need to set a color or anything like that for the hitbox. I do need to import circle. And make sure that instead of returning null, I return the hitbox. Actually, I should have changed that here as well. Don't be returning null, return ball. Okay, the shape and the hitbox both have defined shapes now. And if I run it now, there it is, soccer ball on screen. Now, right now we're looking at the soccer ball sprite part, but if I'd like to switch that over and see what the physics view looks like, which would show me the hitbox and the center, and it would also show me velocity, although the ball doesn't have any velocity right now, so it won't really appear. I could say ball dot set physics view gotta be careful. Sorry, it's not ball dot, it's this dot. Let's do that in the constructor for this class. So this dot set physics view, because this object is a sprite and setting the physics view is something you can do with a sprite. And I'll set the physics view to true. That will show me there is the hitbox for the ball. Now, if you ask me, that hitbox looks a little bit small, a little bit smaller than the graphic of the ball was. I think it needs to be more like 18. Right. There's the hitbox for the ball. That's approximately the size that the soccer ball was. And I don't have a velocity there. Let's actually just go ahead and, for fun, put some velocity onto the ball. So this dot set X velocity. Oh, how fast do you think it should move? Maybe 100 pixels per second in the X direction, and this does set Y velocity, maybe 50 pixels per second in the Y direction. Then if I run it, I should have my vector there for the speed of the ball. I don't have to, but I could play around with the hitbox color. If I wanted to change it, I could say set fill and have the hitbox be color red, because if you're hitting things, that's bad, right? And whatever else you want to do to play around with showing the shape or setting up the hitbox. So that's how you create a sprite using the sprite class that we created in the last lesson. Your task now is to create a second sprite, being the foot. You'll be creating the foot sprite class, and in order to show the sprite on screen, you will need to complete the define sprite method, which again, it could just be creating a rectangle painted with the foot image. Make sure you return that, and then defining a shape for the hitbox shape of the shoe. May I suggest use an ellipse for the shape of the shoe? Works out pretty good.